Low key, niggas hating but they don't want no beef. State gang, true sippers, bitch, I bet we don't eat.
She got a coochie so tight and clean, with a grip so mean it'll snap your pain. That kitty don't purr, it bites and it screams, got me sweating through sheets and seeing my dreams. It's wetter than a creek in a hurricane, hotter than a stovetop cooking propane. Every time she clenches, I about go insane. She'll drain my soul through my goddamn vein. Her pussy brings life, it rewires my brain like touching a socket in the pouring rain. It grips, it pulls, it sucks me dry, got me cussing, praying, damn near cry like a lasso rope on a rodeo steer. Once it locks on, I ain't getting clear. It shocks my heart, it fries my brain like moonshine burning through my veins. That coochie got power I can't explain, like touching a socket in the pouring rain. She rides me hard like a buck and steer. Neighbors pound the walls, but I can't hear. Boots fly off and my hat hits the floor. When that grip locks tight, I come begging for more. She don't need lube, don't need foreplay. That coochie got torque like a Chevrolet, bites down hard like a pit bull's teeth. Got me seeing stars and I can't find relief. It grips, it pulls, it sucks me dry, got me cussing, praying, damn near cry like a lasso rope on a rodeo steer. Once it locks on, I ain't getting clear. It shocks my heart, it fries my brain like moonshine burning through my veins. That coochie got power I can't explain, like touching a socket in the pouring rain. Doctor said, son, you're losing weight. That girl's coochie got you chewed up, bait. I said, Doc, I'll die with a smile on my face, cause that grip's God's gift to the human race. It grips, it pulls, it sucks me dry, got me shouting Jesus to the sky like a lasso rope on a rodeo steer. Once it grabs hold, I'm stuck right here. It shocks my heart, it fries my brain like moonshine burning through my veins. That coochie got power I can't explain, like touching a socket in the pouring rain.
I'm tell you hallelujah. That's about everybody. We miss Sean the song a lot. Just make a man about it. This is called Tell Her Never Do.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, 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 baby, baby, yeah. Anytime we gotta hustle 'cause our pockets be hurt. Little players wanna get funded from who got work. Is you ready for that? You want them nines to bust. Let a player know where they at, so ain't no stopping us. If you handle your business right, I'ma promote your ass. You bitch out and try to kite, I'ma come smoke your ass. The shit that I'm giving you, they drawing blood to get. The fix be running through because they love the shit. So don't come with that, no one wouldn't buy it. The shit was food. Niggas try to rob me, nobody was coming through. Snitches, I can't have that. Bitches, I can't have that. Riches, you can have that. Just bring me my cash back. Look, it's all gravy with me, go ahead and shine. That's how you play it with me, you're big time. All I want is the G's with a trunk full of keys. A Benz on 20s, you got something you can lend me. Shit, boys ain't doing nothing for me for free. Can't put no trust in you boys, 'cause y'all be trying to run G. 'Cause I don't like dreaming about making no cheese. Wanna see my motherfucking bank account OD. Until then, I'ma be thugging behind the project building, smoking that 5 with the gas. Shitters, I be tipping them. My Mac 9, it be flipping them. Some of these haters is trying to run G, so I be gifting them. They will do the same to me. Boys ain't no family. Shit is all a game to me, but nobody gon' handle me. 400 degrees, toting guns, running with me. No wonder we need more money one could receive. Play, I wanna deal with this Christ. I'ma put it open in his life. Never should I fuck with me right. Why you keep ducking me shy? I'ma knock your head off. Boy, tryna get to your fuck, tryna play it off. You made the beat, pussy so wise, you scared. If you mind your fucking business, then your life would be spared. I can't see it. Pussy try to make me out a bitch, I can't be it. I had this motherfucker crow with hitters like Free Nick. You probably can save yourself, but you can't save your neighbors. When my nine get to spinning around like a baseball player. Put on this potato on the end of my nine. Foolishness I entertain to keep these boys in line. Look, cause I don't like to dream about making no cheese. Cause I don't like to dream about making no cheese. Wanna see my motherfucking bank account OD. Until then I'ma be thugging man a project building. Smoking that Bobby with the ghetto children. Plotting on the way that we can make $1 million. Yeah, I'ma be thugging man a project building. Smoking that Bobby with the ghetto children. Plotting on the way that we can make $1 million. Ask some boy about me. Bet them bitches know me. Man, know your head buster out that wild TC. I'm a young hitter. Look at what you done, hitter. You done made me mad. Now I'm gonna get my gun, hitter. Better watch your tongue, hitter. Cause I'm getting dumb, hitter. Kill one hitter to represent where I'm from, hitter. 3 things you don't ever do. Fuck with a man, exchange or his mama. You do that, you want drama. Fuck with a big timer for sure. You gon' see I'm out you. Which one of you boys want me? I'ma keep it real with you. You say you the man, I know I'm the man, and I'm ready to deal with you. I'm prepared for the toe tagging. Keep my Reebok strapped tight with my key ball sagging. Now I done rocked a couple of keys, and I done flipped that 2 times. I know I'm in a drought, and they gonna pursue mine. I got bills to pay, I can't be playing with you jokers. These youngsters something else, now you bout it, they'll provoke you. You can't understand how a hitter my age can hit the streets like the bustin' with the 12 gauge. But I don't like to dream about making no cheese in the future. Wanna see my fucking pockets OD. Until then I'ma be thugging on the project. Fuckin' that side of it, ghetto shit.
Can't handle the truth for the 17th time. That is Juvenile's Ghetto Children off the 400 Degrees album, but it's an AI version. You done asked me that like 30 times. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. I found this story very, 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 very interesting. Well, it's just interesting because the lady that's the squatter. She looked like a stud. And from all accounts of her social media, it looked like she been out here. Yes, you have, ma'am. You've asked several times. I've been playing the song for like 2-3 weeks now. It ain't your first time asking. But anywho, this lady she rented. I guess she had a fire at her main residence. She rented an Airbnb for 30 days, and she ain't get out. She refuses to get out. And the law won't put her out. She has to go through several things. But through all of this, the homeowner says she ain't able to pay her regular bills. She is crazy. She's trying to pay a mortgage here at the Airbnb. She's trying to pay the mortgage at her house. The lady who's squatting and got the lights cut off in the owner's name and got them cut back on in her name. Then while they was over there, she didn't push the lady off the ladder. There's a whole bunch going on. And I'm confused and just baffled at how the law allows this. And I'm sorry. If a bitch would have pushed me off the goddamn gate, the eviction court was the last thing we'd have been had to worry about. If bitch pushed me off the latter. All right, this is like I got like 5 stories on this, including they interviewed the lady that refuses to get out. Let's go.
New at 6.
Make sure. All right.
And only on 7 News. We are now hearing from the woman accused of taking over an Airbnb. Only on 7 News. We are now hearing from a woman accused of taking over an Airbnb in Northeast DC. The homeowner reached out to 7 on Your Side for help after that woman refused to leave. Our Washington, D.C. reporter Felicia Ashley is now live outside the home. Felicia, you have a lot of updates on this case.
A lot, and it all happened as we were out here working on this story. First, you can see the homeowner was able to board up the home, but the guest was able to get back in. In addition to that, though, I was able to...
What good is boarding up the house if they can get back in? You just wasted time, money, energy, and resources. I know she want to whoop that lady ass so bad.
Speak with the person the homeowner is accusing of squatting in her home. She stopped us as we were outside doing the story and invited us in.
I still to meet her.
The police allowed her to hire a locksmith and break in. She gave them no documents. She gave them no court orders. She gave them no lease. She just came and said, I'm locked out. This is taking me somewhere where I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to stay on the right. But for somebody to just take and do, everybody has a breaking.
And got Amazon packages sitting on the porch. Man, all that shit'll be mine.
I went back to the property today and saw child services show up because Shadija brought her daughter into the home while there was no power or electricity inside.
So you squatting and you done got the power and electricity cut off. Good job, CPS. Good job. They gonna make this bitch life a living hell. Public notice, unauthorized occupant, no lease. I don't know what they say. Legal summer in progress.
Because Shadija brought her daughter into the home while there was no power or electricity inside. Police also showed up because the homeowner's truck went missing after Shadija got back in the house. And when Shadija cracked the door open to get a package, I saw what appears to be a candles and essential oils business.
So this bitch is running a business out this woman's house and won't give her no goddamn money. Man.
Door open to get a package. I saw what appears to be a candles and essential oils business inside.
This is unbelievable.
That led to a virtual emergency hearing today. In court, it was revealed that Shadija tried to push Roshane off a ladder, took the utilities out of the homeowner's name.
She tried to push her off the ladder. If she took the utilities out her name, why the motherfuckers off?
And put it in her daughter's name, tampered with.
Wait a minute. And this bitch done put the lights on her daughter name. Wait. Okay. You squatting. You running the business at the house. Check. You cut the lights. If the lights was in the homeowner's name, you said, fuck that, I'm going to get them cut off. Get them cut off in my daughter's name. But CPS had to roll up on you because you took your daughter in a house without lights. But the lights are in her name, so you fucking up your daughter's credit. This is... Oh, boy.
Took the utilities out of the homeowner's name and put it in her daughter's name, tampered with cameras, requested that Roshane pay her back for the food lost when the power was turned off.
What? Hey, man, Like, they need to let these women get into the ring on one of these celebrity boxing matches or something, or let them be in the backyard for 3 minutes. Hold up, like, so you're in my house illegally. You running up my lights and shit, even though you're not paying anymore. I get the lights cut off, and bitch, you suing me because your food went bad. Oh no, like I would at this point, I'd just burn my own shit down. Fuck it. If I can't have it and make no money off of it, you ain't finna stay in this bitch neither.
Oh, and she asked the judge if she could question Roshane as a hostile witness. I was with Roshane as she attended the hearing from her car outside the home.
And the sad part is, I feel sorry for her. I really do. But your problem is, I can't help you. But I do truly feel sorry for her and her child and all of this. And I have a big heart, and this is the outcome of me having a big heart. But I really hope somebody can help her, but you can't do it at my expense. I don't have it. If the judge doesn't give me some of these, I'm gonna lose my property because I can't pay $4,000 a month and my other bills and my responsibilities like this. And there's no recourse for me.
Just moments ago, as we were working on this live shot and this report, Shadija came up to our car and said that we could finally speak to her. This is what she had to say, or part of what she had to say during our 15-minute conversation.
She said that we didn't have.
Look at this goddamn stud. Look at this shit. Why the fuck she got on this Gore-Tex vest? Look at this bitch here. She got to be related to Hammerhead. Oh, sideshow Bob, her ass bitch. Get out this woman's house.
Have a lease, which we do not have a lease in place, but we did have an agreement for me to stay at the property beyond.
She lying now. Like, lady, you rented from that woman through Airbnb. You ain't had no, like, when the month, when them 30 days was up, she expected you to leave. If she worked something out with you, she wouldn't be going through all of this. You little lying ass bitch.
She said that we didn't have a.
Like, just keep in mind, she's doing this interview on that woman's furniture because this is an Airbnb. So she has made herself at home in somebody else's shit and ain't bought shit.
Lease, which we do not have a lease in place, but we did have an agreement for me to stay at the property beyond.
Nah, just dramatics.
Beyond the initial Airbnb time frame.
She had to think about what she was saying. What was that long dramatic ass pause for a sideshow Bob? Ain't your vest too big?
So she has been back to the property almost every day. They installed signs.
So she worked out an agreement with you to be there past the initial Airbnb, but she been back every day. That don't sound like somebody who had an agreement with you. She would come back at the end of the agreement. She wouldn't be installing signs and shit of that nature if y'all had an agreement. Her
Now,
interview,
coming up
her 15
so
minute
rather what
interview
happened today is that
coming
there
up
was an
next.
emergency hearing because of everything that unfolded in that hearing. The judge did tell Roshane she has to turn back on the electricity. Now, there is another hearing next week where the judge will decide whether Shadija can stay or if she has to go. Now,
wait, the judge said Roshane got to cut back on the electricity. Why? I thought the bitch got him cut on in her daughter's name. So the homeowner has been told by the judge, you can't put her out and you got to cut the lights back on. If there's ever a reason not to go into real estate, not to be a landlord, like don't do real estate unless you finna flip them motherfuckers, unless you buying them to flip them. Do not rent to people because this is the new scheme apparently. This the new hustle.
hearing the judge did tell Roshane she has to turn back on the electricity. Now, there is another hearing next week where the judge will decide whether Shadija can stay or if she has to go. Now, reporting live from Northeast DC, Felicia Ashley, 7 News.
And Felicia will have more on this story online, WJLA.com.
What a story. More now on a story that's getting a lot of reaction online. A DC homeowner claims that.
Okay, now a lawyer is about to explain to us how this lady is breaking. She's using the loophole to be able to do this shit.
Woman has taken over her rental home and refuses to leave. And up until now, she's run into one legal brick wall after another. So joining us now is Aaron Sokolow, a DC-based lawyer who specializes in landlord and tenant cases. Aaron, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Talk to us about this, because this has just been a wild story, and it's raised probably the biggest question is, how is squatting even allowed to happen?
So in theory, squatting is not legal and the homeowner should have some remedy. The problem is in the logistical way that a homeowner can get a remedy. And what you're describing in this case that you've been reviewing is that there's a dispute. The individual who's there says she's a tenant, the homeowner says that she's not, and you go down to court on an emergency hearing and there's a judge sitting there and the judge is going to hear from both. But the district is so pro-tenant and so fearful that there will be a wrongful eviction or a self-help eviction where the owner changes locks or turns off utilities or does something to cause occupant to leave without court order, that the judge is going to err on the side of caution. And if the occupant can show something that leads the court to say that there's a possibility that she's allowed to stay there, the court could grant the occupant's request at an injunction and mandate that the owner keeps her there until she gets awarded a proper eviction. And the problem is, in the district, that can take months and months, and it puts homeowners in a really tough spot in the situation you've described.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you're shining so much light on the court process, what that actually looks like. That being said, would you say the laws in DC are favorable to squatters?
Well, they're favorable to tenants, and one person's squatter is another person's alleged squatter, an actual tenant. And the court is going to make sure that it finds out the answer to that preliminary question of, has that individual achieved tenancy status or not? And so you're starting with the conclusion that the person's a tenant, but that individual has a right to go to court and try to prove that she's actually a tenant and afforded all of the rights of tenants in the district. And therein lies the rub. It's not easy to get a court to find an answer to that question. It seems simple. In the eyes of the law, it could become very complicated, especially in the district.
How common is this? You say especially in the district. How common is this problem?
I have personally been involved in a handful of these over the years. So it's not every day that you see it. It's certainly a worst case scenario, but I've seen it before. So it's not a unicorn. It's something that comes up. Remember, in the district, you don't need to have a written lease. A tenant can be defined very broadly. So if an individual can come, and in this case, it's a utility bill is in their name, and that's a common factor that a court would look at. If the tenant, if the occupant can say, here's my proof of some payment, that can be enough. I've had cases where my client, a property owner, a landlord, says this person literally broke in, but by the time it gets to the courthouse, they have some mail with their name and the property address on it, or something like that. And the court proceeds out of an abundance of caution and is so hesitant to sign off on a self-help eviction that they say, well, because the prejudice to locking this person out would be so high, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt until we can get to the bottom of that. And get to the bottom of that can be a trial that's held 9 months later.
Just the timeline, which, as we kind of were seeing in the package, the payments, this can be excruciating for people trying to pay and not even living at a property in the meantime. Aaron, what can homeowners actually do then in a situation like this?
My biggest recommendation is to be present and to understand what's going on. Accidental landlords, if you just say, oh, I'm not an institutional landlord, I'm just renting out my room. They are held to the same rigors and standards as every other landlord in the city. So being knowledgeable about the law, being knowledgeable about what a court might say about these certain situations is of the utmost importance, as is being hands-on at the property. Usually when I've seen this, there's some length of time where they say, oh, we didn't check on that unit for a while and we don't know what's been going on there. If you catch this right away, you might have a better chance at fending off an allegation that your squatter can allege a tenancy.
Why do you think, from your experience and what you've seen, that more hasn't been done to protect landlords and homeowners?
There's a very well coordinated and well educated and talented group of pro tenant lobby in the district that realize to make the laws as favorable for tenants as possible, and they've succeeded to a large part. So this would be a question for everyone's council member to say, why are the laws as they are? But the courts that enforce the laws are very hesitant to take an action that's going to kick someone out of a place if they actually have an entitlement to be there.
Lawyer Aaron Sokolow, thank you so much for joining us to talk about what truly is a very wild story. Thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. And stay with us because we're going to be right back after this quick break.
So first, let's just start
Here
with...
go Pod 1, a Sideshow Bob interview. Y'all know she dyking.
So first, let's just start with your first name and your last name and how you spell it.
Shadija Romero. That's fine. Just maybe not the screen door since we don't know if
So just close which one?
that one, that door.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
You scared, ain't it? You scared the owner gonna come in there and whoop your ass?
Okay. First name and last name, and spell it for me, love.
Shadija Romero, Shadija. Last name Romero.
Okay. So, well, we know why we are here. Tell me how it got to this point.
Oh, she the boy stud. She is the boy lesbian.
In February of this year, I moved into the unit initially through an Airbnb. There was a month agreement, which I paid for on the Airbnb platform due to a fire, which I then asked the owner if we could extend the time frame in the home. We came to an agreement that I could do that.
What's the agreement? Can you be specific and tell us what the agreements were that you got? She ain't gonna do that though, because she's lying.
She sent me monthly invoices, which I paid those monthly invoices in order to stay in the unit. I had a month where I had a financial loss of over like $17,000.
Who gives a fuck? So you just gonna make this woman have to deal with your goddamn losses. Who gives a fuck, ma'am? If your house hadn't caught on fire and you had a month of financial hardship, they wouldn't be going through this shit with you. You couldn't stay in them folks shit for free. I had a month of financial hardship. Bitch, we just saw Amazon packages on your porch. Apparently your hardship wasn't that bad. You in there making candles and shit. You making money while living free. You ain't paid a light bill. It seems like you ain't paid in a couple months. Because if you was just doing month to month, you was paying the 30 days and the lady was just extending you every 30 days. It don't seem like it would be a problem if you were paying.
Was that due to work or?
Had a month where I had a financial loss of over like $17,000.
Was that due to work or personal?
It's a personal issue. I helped someone in the past and it came back to bite me because everyone can see, you can search me.
Oh, you mean sort of like how this homeowner's shit is coming back to bite her in the ass for fucking with you?
Because I'm not hiding from anyone. So they were able to find me and then I was held liable for something I helped someone do. So that put me in a financial strain. But either way, I paid. I still made the payment. I made the payment late because I had the issue. I'm sorry, I'm emotional. I didn't mean to get emotional. I'm trying to.
Hey man, I'm telling you, this bitch has to be related to him here. She's emotional. Your nose didn't got red, but I don't see no tears. Where's the tears? I'm emotional. Where are the tears, ma'am? Where? Where?
I paid. I still made the payment. I made the payment late because I had the issue. I'm sorry, I'm emotional. I didn't mean to get emotional. I'm trying to speak clearly.
And didn't wipe her eyes. She got emotional, but she didn't wipe her eyes at all. Girl, go eat some pussy or something. This bullshit.
The financial thing was, like I said, almost $17,000. So it sent me into a depression where I was considering suicide because it was
Kill yourself then, ma'am, and get out that woman's shit. Nobody cares.
such a big loss. I was trying to purchase a home. That's why I had so much money. But anyway, I paid the rent. I paid it late. In October, there was the same thing. With the invoice being sent, the invoice is being sent every month. Prior to me going out of the country, well, actually, I was going to make a payment on the 15th of October.
Hey man, the cameraman ain't shit for letting y'all see her big ass thighs. He is letting you know she's a bull dagger. He ain't shit for putting the camera down right there. She definitely wears the strap on.
On the 15th of October, my daughter's car, her steering wheel locked while she was driving. And
who cares, bitch? You is not the only one who has problems. Get out that woman's shit. It is a whole bunch of excuses for why you won't get out that woman's shit. We don't give a fuck about your daughter's car. We don't give a fuck about the fire that got you there in the first place. We don't care. We don't care about your $17,000 loss. Who cares? If your dumb ass gave somebody $17,000, you a fool.
And I had to get to her because she was on the roadway, and the issue I needed to make sure that she was safe and get her heart resolved.
What does that have to do with you paying rent, bitch?
That took me past the hours of bank hours, so I didn't make my payment on that day because
I couldn't pay the rent because I was on the side of the road helping my daughter. So why didn't you do it the next day? It took me past banking hours, and I couldn't go to an ATM because I don't have an ATM card, and so I just I said fuck it.
The bank had closed. I had the emergency situation with my daughter. The next day, I went to retrieve the funds for the payment because I was going out of the country and I wanted it, taken care of while.
And she definitely has been on social media living her best life, according to one of these videos they done showed. She had to out the country taking trip. Now, you ain't got nowhere to stay. You $17,000 in debt. Yet you going out the motherfucking country. How could you afford to go out the country if you $17,000 in debt? Seems like your priorities are a bit fucked up, aren't they, stud?
I was gone, but it wasn't. The money was lost. I wasn't aware of that while I was gone. I came back, and
Let me see. I see Slay and said something. Hold on. Let me go to the other screen. See, I own property, had a tenant from here, went to court. She didn't leave. My husband was livid and did an illegal eviction. He's opposite of me. Has never told what he did, but them folk left. Man, it don't matter. Everybody, he tell y'all better get I blow this bitch up. Ain't nobody gonna be in there, but when I get back at 5, y'all in here, y'all better have some motherfucking water hoses and shit. Hope y'all know the fire department. No.
15th was the day the payment was due. 16th, I went out of the country.
The payment was due on the 15th, but I couldn't make the payment on the 15th because, you know, my daughter's steering wheel locked up and I'm a mechanic. So I went there instead of calling her a tow truck and an Uber. I went to the side of the road and sat with her and I missed the bank. And so the next day I was going out the country and I just said, fuck my rent. Don't this sound like West Indian mommy? She just said, fuck their rent and went out on a cruise. What is wrong with these hoes?
Of that while I was gone. I came back, and so the 15th was the day the payment was due. 16th, I went out of the country. When I went out of the country, because I had just had that big financial loss, I turned all of my phones off because I was trying to like decompress from.
How again, you just claimed you lost $17,000, but you managed to book a trip out the country, not paid, or you didn't pay your Airbnb thing, which you said you worked out with the woman, and then you said you cut your phones out. Like, ladies and gentlemen, we is 3 minutes and 58 seconds into this 7 minute and 33-second clip, and all we've heard is excuses about why this bitch ain't been able to pay her rent. I know the news reporter is sitting there like, bitch, who cares? She can't say that though.
You know, what I had been experiencing. And
let's skip this shit back.
You know, taken care of while I was gone, because she was on the roadway, and the issue I needed to make sure that she was safe and get her tart resolved. That took me.
It's called AAA.
Past the hours of like bank hours, so I didn't make my payment on that day because the bank had closed. I had the emergency situation with my daughter. The next day, I went to retrieve the funds for the payment. Because I was going out of the country and I wanted it, you know, taken care of while I was gone. But it wasn't. The money was lost. I wasn't aware of that while I was gone.
What? Wait. This bitch said she woke up the next morning to go to the bank to retrieve the funds because she wanted it to be taken care of while she was gone, but it wasn't. The money was lost. Who lost the money? Who in the blue hell lost the money? I know it wasn't the landlord. The money was lost.
Because I was going out of the country and I wanted it, you know, taken care of while I was gone. But it wasn't. The money was lost. I didn't.
Pineapple Head, can you tell us how the money was lost? Slaying, I would have just burnt first of all, I would have took the meter off the house. Other than you, like, you got to be willing to go to jail. You had to be willing to go to jail. You got to be willing to pull that pistol out on a motherfucker. You got to be willing to whoop a nigga ass. You got to be willing to commit arson. You got to be able to something like put some, you may have to release some raccoons or something into the vent, something to get them motherfuckers up out of there. Throw some skunks all around, like something. I put a skunk in the air vent, something. Y'all got to go though.
I wasn't aware of that while I was gone. I came back, and so the 15th was the day the payment was due. 16th, I went out of the country. When I went out of the country, because I had just had that big financial.
Ma'am, could you please tell us? So she ain't gonna tell us how the money was lost. How do you lose the money? Yeah, do any of y'all in the chat have an idea of what she meant by the money was lost?
I wasn't aware of that while I was gone.
She
but it
wasn't
wasn't.
aware that the
The
money
money
was
was
lost.
lost. I wasn't aware of that while I was gone.
You didn't pay, motherfucker. That's why you cut your phone off. You didn't pay. The goddamn money wasn't lost. You didn't pay. She ain't lost none of the other goddamn money you gave her. Mop top.
I came back, and so the 15th was the day the payment was due. 16th, I went out of the country. When I went out of the country, because I had just had that big financial loss, I turned all of my phones off because I was trying to like decompress.
I wish I could go out the country after a big financial loss, because that shit's free too.
From, what I had been experiencing. And I didn't turn my phones back on until later that Monday. When I came into the property on that Monday, so that's like maybe 6 days after the rent was due, the electricity to the home had been cut off. And at that point, that's when I was made aware that the payment had not been made. I then called Pepco to figure.
No, you said the payment wasn't made. You said it was lost. Well, I guess it's the same result. Motherfucker didn't have the money. I came home and the lights was off. Shouldn't have took your ass out the country in the first motherfucking place. But all this shit is just so convenient.
Out. At first, I thought maybe it was a power outage.
I want to fight this lady for the homeowner.
So first, I called Pepco, found out it wasn't a power outage, and that the owners had turned off they had turned off the electricity. So then the electricity was turned on so that we could have power. They turned the power back off because they said I had no right to turn the power on. I went to the.
You didn't, because it's not your house. You don't have a lease to say that you can have lights cut on over there. How did you? They shouldn't even like that. They dropped the ball by letting you cut them on in your daughter's name in the first goddamn place, because you were required to have a fucking lease to even get lights cut on. You didn't have a lease. You had no paperwork, so they just cut your shit. They just took your word for it and cut the lights on.
Courthouse to that following day to file an emergency hearing because they had turned the power off, and I didn't want them to be able to turn the power off again.
Bitch, pay the rent. Pay again. If you was whatever you paid for them first 30 days through Airbnb, if you were constantly paying it, that lady wouldn't give a fuck. Had you got back in town, seen the lights was off, and be like, oh, the rent didn't get paid, here goes such and such, let me cancel the check, let me cancel the money order, or whatever the fuck happened, and paid her the same day, I don't think this would be an issue. You ain't gave this woman no goddamn money. And act like she's entitled to have utilities in a place where she ain't paying no goddamn money. Man, I'm telling you, like, another can't handle the truth, and I can't handle the truth slaying. That bitch will wake up with 4 flat tires every day until she vacate my premises. Every single day, she will wake up with 4 flat tires. I bust the windows out. It'll be cheaper for me to replace every window in that house than to have this bitch living in there 3-4 months, not giving me shit, running up the bills, farting on my furniture and shit. I would pay the young niggas to go around there and terrorize this bitch.
No point prior to this did I state anything about like.
The lights were on, Melissa. The lights were on when she got there. She rented through Airbnb. The lights was on. She went through all of this shit where she didn't pay the rent. She said she started paying rent late, and then she had to go out the country, and the rent got lost. And when she got back in town, the lights were off. And the lady cut the lights off because she hadn't paid the rent, and she had been calling the lady for 6 days. And as you heard the lady say, well, I was on my vacation and I cut the phone off because I was trying to relax and escape from the $17,000 I just lost in my daughter car locking up in the fire and all of that shit. So the homeowner was calling her for 6 days after not receiving the rent. She wasn't answering because her phone was off. Now, you were so worried about your goddamn child being stuck on the side of the road, and you went out the country and cut your phone off. What if she got stuck on the side of the road again, ma'am? Or you just said, fuck them kids, huh? What was your youngest child with you? Because if your youngest child wasn't with you, you a ain't shit mama. You didn't cut your phone off for 6 days. Ain't talked to nobody. According to you, you cut it off for 6 days.
Tenant rights, was I worried about anything about? Again, no point prior to this did I state anything about like tenant rights. Was I worried about anything about tenant rights? Because up until that point,
Ma'am, you went to court to file an emergency injunction to have the lights cut back on. You were worried about tenant rights. No normal person, that's not their first active recourse when they come back and the lights off on a place they ain't paid bills in. Because you know the reason the lights were off is because you didn't pay the motherfucking rent. And when she told you as much, well, hey, I cut the lights off because bitch, you ain't paid the rent. You went down to the power company and got them cut on. And then she got them cut off again. And then you went to court. Fuck you mean you wasn't thinking about no tenants. Bitch, you planned all of this. Who normally would think, oh shit, I'm in somebody's shit. I ain't paid. Let me go file an injunction to keep these lights on, even though they not in my name and I ain't paying shit. I didn't mention it. I mean, this hoe need her ass whooped.
point everything was being paid every month, even if it was paid 2 days late, it was paid. After that, we've now progressed to the point where they come to the home almost every other day. I called the police. The police informed them that I was a resident or a tenant here. She said that we didn't have a lease, which we do not have a lease in place, but we did have an agreement for me to stay at the property beyond the initial Airbnb time frame. So she's been back to the property almost every day. They installed signs. The police told me that I could take down the signs because they were not legal signs issued by the court. They were signs that she had just had made in an attempt to try to harass me more and force me out of the property sooner.
How in the fuck is she harassing you and you in her shit? This is what I'm saying. You in my shit and I'm harassing you because I'm asking you to leave. I'm just said this couldn't be me. Like this bitch would have had stitches.
I told them that I could not be out of the property within a short period of time because I had just had that financial issue. But that
you was just out the country, bitch. Why does everybody have to care about your problems and you was just out the country, ma'am? Let's see if I can find a video because they showed her goddamn social media. I wish I had been paying attention and looked her IG up, but
I would go through this process that DC has to assist people who have had financial issue in order to pay the rent. Inform them that I would go through that, and that while they were going through.
Why are you having hard? Hold on, wait. Now all of a sudden you're having financial hardship, but you claim you paid the rent and you've been paying the rent. So why do you need an agency to pay your rent? Why do you need rental help if you claim you have been paying all the rent and you even paid the rent before you went out of town? They just lost it. Why do you need rental assistance? Hey man, this story is actually making me mad.
A short period of time because I had just had that financial issue, but that I would go through this process that DC has to assist people who have had financial issue in order to pay the rent. Informed that I would go through that, and that while they were going through the legal process while they initiated the legal process, because they had never initiated the legal process before to like have me move from the property, that I would ensure that everything was paid. And then it's just been a continuance of them, the police and you coming to the home.
You ain't paid shit, bitch. You don't get to live comfortable where you're staying in somebody else's shit for free. That's another thing I would be doing, slaying. You got a right to a peaceful protest. I'd be out there protesting all goddamn day and night. Like this bitch would not get no sleep fucking with me.
And the power is currently off. So, yes.
Well, thank you for sharing your side, Juan. I heard you mention the tragedies of financial loss. I do know also when I went through the court records, the messages between you two, the Airbnb reservation, things like that. I heard you say there were payments, but transaction-wise, there was nothing for nearly 9-10 months, July.
Oh, you lying bitch. And that's how quick these hoes will lie in your face. I don't know why she didn't think that the person that was a reporter coming in her house to talk to her wouldn't do their goddamn homework. So when she's told, oh yeah, I done been through text messages, everything that has been filed in court, bitch, you ain't paid rent in 9 or 10 months. 9 or 10 months and you out the country, man, hell no. Oh, lady, give me $300. That bitch should be going out your house for Christmas. Oh, and this lady say her mortgage is $4,000 a month. And I'm guessing for that property. And she said, I'm gonna lose my property because that's $4,000 a month. Plus, I got my other shit where I'm living at and all that. Oh, and this bitch ain't paid nothing in 10 months. Man, hell no, fool. Like, I'm for real. Like, no, bruh. I would do $40,000 in damages to my property to get that bitch up out of there. It's cold right now, too. Bust all them goddamn windows out.
The Airbnb reservation.
Oh,
Also heard
get a
you
little
mention
chocolate.
the tragedies of financial loss. Your side, Juan. I heard you mention the tragedies of financial loss.
Look, this is the gotcha bitch moment. Look at this dyke. She hit her with the gotcha bitch.
I do know also when I went through the court records, the messages between you two, the Airbnb reservation, things like that. I heard you say there were payments, but transaction.
I heard you say there were payments, but transaction-wise, what can be proved to the court, what you've shown the court, and what that woman has shown the court, bitch, you ain't paid no money. You need to be able to show where you have withdrawn this money and had a traveler's check, a cashier's check, a money order, something saying you paid this woman, and the court reporter has pulled that you have not. We're gonna follow this case because hopefully that bitch get put out.
There was
But she gotta wait till next
for
week.
nearly 9-10 months, July.
No, that's incorrect. And I can prove to you, I can show you the receipts that she sent me. The owner sent me direct links every month after March for.
Well, why the court ain't got them? Again, she just told you she pulled the court records and the text messages and shit. So why isn't it on court record your record of pain through those direct links? And why didn't you just go through Airbnb? Because why would you? Why wouldn't you just rent through Airbnb every month? That would seem like that would be the simplest thing to do, because you're the same tenant. On the 29th day, you just re-up it. They'll see that it's you that paid for it, and they're like, oh, we ain't got to come turn over and clean, have nobody do nothing. It's the same tenant. That seems like that would have been the easiest route, to just keep paying through Airbnb. This lady is full of shit. She looked like she has done this her whole life. She looked like a scammer. Look at the flat top. She's related to Helmet Head. I'm telling y'all.
The owner sent me direct links every month after March for payments. So I have been making payments.
Well, show the proof, bitch. You just told that lady you could show her. Show her.
Via a PayPal link that they sent.
A PayPal link. Well, that's still a receipt. So you said you could show it. Show it. I bet she don't.
If I can go and grab my phone, I can even show you a receipt that says it's to. I don't want.
She could show one receipt.
Not say the name, but the phone. I can even show you a receipt that says it's to. I don't want to say the name, but the.
Okay. Why would the owner of the Airbnb who made an agreement with you to extend you past the 30 days have you sending the money to somebody else? That doesn't make any sense.
The name of their investment group that I guess oversees the property. So I have been making payments. The first payment was made directly through Airbnb. After that time frame, we made an agreement that I would stay after, and she sent me direct links through PayPal to make the payments every month. 1 or 2 months, I didn't make the payment through PayPal. I made it through Apple Pay or through Zelle, but the payment was made. So
how do you not know which form of payment you use? It was through Apple Pay or Zelle, but she had been sending you PayPal links, but you just decided to switch it up. She needs to be jailed for this shit.
Every month, she had to send me an invoice. I didn't have to request the invoice. She just sent the invoice because we were in agreement that I would be staying at the property. So that's untrue. I had not been here for 9-10 months and not been paying. That is inaccurate. And
I'll let you get after me, just so we can run through all the, in case you have to get anything else. Let's start from the beginning. When you made the Airbnb reservation, because I saw the reservation, you mentioned it was for a fire. Around that same time, court records show at your previous apartment, you were also getting evicted for not.
Son of a bitch. I said this bitch got a history of it. We thought she had a fire going on at the house. No, the bitch was getting evicted. And she just don't have no problem coming on the news in front of me. Millions of people have seen this shit via the local news, national news, because it's made national news now. It's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's everywhere. And she ain't got no problem lying in front of millions of kids. And then she got a school-age daughter who I'm sure her friends, family watched the news and they was like, your lights was cut off and CPS came and y'all squatting. Don't give a fuck about this shit falling back on their kids. Don't give a fuck. Why are you even doing this interview, bitch? You shouldn't be wanting to show your face. You know you doing wrong. Free the hair,
that
bitch.
wasn't for that probably.
Previous mention was for a fire. Around that same time, court records show at your previous apartment, you were also getting evicted for not paying rent. And
So
around the time of the fire, but she gonna say that's a different eviction. But it's around the same time as did fire.
That wasn't for that place. It was for a previous place for something happened during COVID when everyone was not receiving payment. I'm an entrepreneur.
Ma'am, COVID happened in 2020. We in 2025, damn near finna be 2026. So again, she has a history of doing this. So when COVID came, she just stopped paying rent wherever the fuck she was living at.
And I also have a nonprofit. So that's what that was for. The fire that I actually had a fire. There's a police report, a fire report for it.
You were evicted What the fuck? What does her nonprofit and her being an entrepreneur have to do with her being evicted? What the fuck does any of this shit have to do with? She just talking. Yeah, so I saw there that around the same time you said it was a fire, you was getting evicted. Oh no, I wasn't getting evicted from that place. That was from another place, you know, during COVID. Because you know I'm an entrepreneur and I got a nonprofit. So yeah,
You mentioned it was for
that's what
a
happened
fire.
there.
Mhm.
Around that same time, court records show at your previous apartment, you were also getting evicted for not paying rent. And
So that wasn't for that place. It was for a previous place where something happened during COVID when everyone was not receiving payment. I'm a entrepreneur and I also have a nonprofit.
That happened during COVID where everybody would no, ma'am. Owners were still taking payments if you was making them. If you were making the payment and you were able to make the payments, Miss Entrepreneur and nonprofit holder, you wouldn't have been getting evicted for non-payment. But I'm just trying to figure out why we needed to know that she was an entrepreneur and had a non-profit around the time that she was getting evicted.
So that's what that was for. The fire that I actually had a fire. There's a police report, a fire report for it. The police came out, the fire department came out, determined that it was electrical issue in the wall that then
was it
created
at the same apartment building?
For
Ava Noma, that apartment? Because that says 2023. It was you were there 2023, 2024.
so Ava Noma is
Look at her like you got that many goddamn evictions, bitch. This is a goddamn shame. She don't remember where the fuck she lived. So you move every year. You don't remember where you were living in 2023.
for
Ava Noma, that apartment? Because that says 2023. It was you were there 2023, 2024.
so Ava Noma is where I had the fire. Yes.
Ava Noma is the one showing that you were in the process of being evicted.
Done DeMarco, go. She can't keep her lies together. Nah, that was a different. The lady told you, man. I got the records. You was getting evicted around the time you was having the fire. No, it's another place. Well, hey, where was the fire at? Ava Noma. Well, Ava Noma is also where you got the eviction at, bitch. Seems like you had fire after you was supposed to be getting put out.
Yes.
Ava Noma, 2023. It was you were there 2023, 2024.
So Ava Noma is where I had the fire. Yes.
Ava Noma is the one showing.
When did you have the fire though? It said you were living there from 2023 to 2024. Well, the lady said you ain't paying no rent in 10 months, but you still, and that was in June though. You came there in like June. I don't know when the fuck she got there. Because June to now ain't no goddamn 9-10 months. Maybe she did fleece her all of 2025.
That you were in the process of being evicted for paying 1 month's rent.
Look at her face. She knows she lied. She trying to see how much the reporter know.
2023. It was you were there 2023, 2024.
So Ava Noma is where I had the fire. Yes.
Ava Noma is the one showing that you were in the process of being evicted for paying 1 month's rent when you were there for 13.
So no.
Ooh, this bitch, ladies and gentlemen, did y'all? So again, I keep reiterating, she has a history of doing this. She lived in a place for 13 months and only paid 1 month worth of rent. I'm still trying to figure out where, maybe times have changed, but I know your ass wouldn't get 13 months before they filed eviction. What are they doing in the housing market nowadays? 13 months. But you an entrepreneur and you got a nonprofit, and you taking trips out the country, but ain't paid rent in 13 months. And then this lady here is alleged you ain't gave her no money in the past 9 or 10 months. So your grown ass just want to live free off everybody.
That would not be accurate.
So the court records are not accurate?
I did not go to court for eviction for Ava Noma.
Well, just because you didn't go doesn't mean they didn't file an eviction. And the reporter being nice, because she like, bitch, I'm looking at the paperwork right here. You know this shit public record, right?
Ava Noma is the one showing that you were in the process of being evicted for paying 1 month's rent when you were there for 13.
So no, that would not be accurate.
So the court records are not accurate?
I did not go to court for eviction for Ava Noma. I did have a fire at that unit, yes.
Okay. Just so you know, court records do show that they were evicting you. It has documents you also filed in that process. It also shows.
What you need your phone for? I didn't go to court for Ava Noma on no eviction, but the lady said, well, I got the documents you filed. Give me my phone. What is your phone gonna help do? Now, you hate that you invited these folk in the house now, don't you, bitch? This is just sad.
It has documents you also filed in that process. It also shows you trying to apply for EREP to stay there.
And I applied for it now through here, not for Ava Noma, because my payments were made for Ava Noma.
Okay. Just so you know, the court records do show something different.
And the court records wouldn't be wrong. This lady didn't read your whole life right quick in 2 minutes and 41 seconds, and you don't know what she's befuddled. She's like, huh?
I hear you on that. You mentioned that you're saying from the start of your Airbnb reservation to now, you've made every single payment.
Correct. And I can show you the receipts for those.
Bitch, go get the phone. We've been waiting for you to go get the phone. We've been waiting. You said I could show you, and you didn't get up and go get it.
Okay.
So the court records is wrong about your last apartment complex. You not paying but 1 month out of 13, and the court records is wrong in this lawsuit where she trying to get you out, saying that you ain't paid in 9 or 10 months. The court system just everybody that has property down there is getting it wrong when it comes to court with her.
So you're saying Roshane Douglas, the homeowner, is essentially lying and saying that you have not made
Any
those payments?
Correct.
Okay.
She sent me links, direct PayPal links for payment.
Okay.
And there's no
That doesn't mean you paid.
way I could pay it without having the PayPal links or having her Zelle information in order to.
Well, I'm confused then, ma'am. Because you said she sent you PayPal links, Zelle links, Apple Pay. So why in the fuck did you tell us when you went to help your daughter out, it was past banking time? Because apparently you don't need a bank to pay with PayPal, Apple Pay, or Zelle. It's money already. It's virtual banking already. So you didn't actually need to go to a bank to be able to pay her. Why didn't you just hit the PayPal link? And if you try to say you need to transfer money and shit, you can do all that online. You did not need to go to a bank to have paid. You could have actually, you could see, this lady, the more she talk, the more she digs herself into a hole.
Send her those payments.
Those payments.
Correct.
Okay.
She couldn't make it without the link.
She sent me links, direct PayPal links for payment.
Okay.
And there's no way I could pay it without having the PayPal links or having her Zelle information in order to send her those payments.
Okay. And some that.
So again, where's the bank coming in at? Why does she need to go to the bank? Because if she had money in her bank account, let's just get this right. She got money in her bank account. She got an ATM card, a debit card, whatever the fuck. All of that shit is linked to PayPal. It's all linked to Venmo. It's all linked to Apple Pay. So how in the fuck did she come on this news feed and tell us she wasn't able to make the bank because she was helping her daughter out? And then the next morning, she was getting ready to go out of town, out the country. So she went to the bank and she made a payment, but the payment got lost.
Text messages between you and her, you did acknowledge that you hadn't paid.
Which month? Was it a May?
Multiple months, starting around August.
Again, this reporter is reading shit that's public record that's in the court documents. And she's saying, well, man, we got in the court documents where you admitted you ain't paid. Which month? She's like, several. No. So everybody got it wrong, bitch. I know the reporter wish she could put that bitch out because the reporter is only there because the homeowner called because she can't get this bitch out of her house.
Did acknowledge that you hadn't paid.
Which month? Was it a May?
Multiple months, starting around August to now.
No. So it may have been okay, I didn't pay it yet, but it was then paid. But I have a payment for my August. I have receipts for my August payment, July, June.
Go get them.
April, May, June, July, August, September, October. I have payments, receipts that show that.
Did you book the Airbnb with the intention of staying?
No, I did not book the Airbnb with the intent of staying.
Who normally rents Airbnbs for 30 days unless you got them at a movie star, a rapper, or some shit of that nature, a basketball player moving to a new city? Who does this? Without, like, you wasn't planning on staying, but you got that motherfucker for a month. And then after the month, you said you made arrangements with this lady to not leave. It sounded like you were staying to me.
So why are you still here?
Because after the repairs were done,
of staying?
No, I did not book the Airbnb with the intent of staying.
So why are you still here?
Because after the repairs were done, the place still smelled like fire.
Here we go. It's always an excuse. So you can't go back home because the place smell like, you can't go back to your apartment that you've been, you can't go back there, bitch, because you've been evicted. But you can blame it on the fire all you want to. But she ain't went back because the place smell like fire. It had a fire and it still smell like fire. And that's this landlord's problem for some odd reason.
And there was water damage. So the water damage was more substantial than the fire damage. And once they started doing the repairs and even completed the repairs, when we went back into the unit, the lease was actually up in April of that year. Once they completed the repairs in about May, everything still smelled like water and fire. And at that point, now the lease was.
If the lease was up, why the fuck would you still be there?
Once they completed the repairs in about May, everything still smelled like water and fire. And at that point, now the lease was up.
Okay.
The lease was for an additional 20.
You said the lease was up in April. But then you said when they finished listen to how this bitch lie. The lease was up in April, but then by the time they finished the repairs in May, the lease was up. It was up in April. So I don't even know why you would be allowed to go back into a place that burned up and your lease is up. And typically, if this is an apartment complex and a fire happened and the fire department said it was their fault, it happened from inside the walls, bad wiring, they would have to find you a place to stay. You wouldn't have had to rent an Airbnb. they have to put you into another unit because it caught fire. They got to pay for a hotel or something.
The unit, the lease was actually up in April of that year.
It's okay. Lease up in April. So it's all
Once they completed the repairs in about May, everything still smelled like water and fire. And at that point, now the lease was up.
Okay.
The lease was for an addition 20. I'm not sure, but it was for an extended period. So it was more than a year.
Okay.
And so the lease was officially up in April.
The lease was up in April.
And so then I had started a process with LEDC to purchase a home.
To purchase a home. Okay. And you're saying you're still here because the home purchase didn't complete, or?
Correct. So
she's there for a myriad of reasons, Chocolate Reporter. She there for one reason because the apartment that burnt up still smell like fire. And then she's still there because she was trying to buy a home and she lost $17,000. So she got a myriad of reasons of why she ain't left that woman's shit yet.
I started the home buying process with LEDC. They have a program where I believe it's called HPAP. HPAP will assist you with paying your down payment costs. This year, they switched the program to a lottery program for that assistance. So with the program, they will play your down payment and your.
Why do we give a fuck about the lottery and all of that? How did you lose $17,000?
Closing costs. Before, the program was just you applied and you got in. This year, it turned to a lottery. That program didn't actually open up until November. Okay. So the program didn't open up for you to even be considered for the lottery until November.
Where are you in that process? Or let me ask you this. You mentioned you didn't, in the middle of your Airbnb process, you didn't go back to your apartment because it still smelled like smoke.
And water damage.
What makes you choose to stay here instead when the homeowner has made it clear she doesn't want you here, doesn't want to be a landlord?
She's the lease.
There's now no utilities on. There's wood boarded up. There's a sign outside saying she doesn't want you here. What's making you choose to stay?
So no, that didn't start until literally this month. So
it don't matter when it started, bitch. She asking you what makes you want to stay where all this shit is going on and you ain't paid. Get the fuck out.
So the sign on the building or the utility, that wasn't something that happened prior to this point, prior to this month.
Ma'am, you said the utilities was off when you came back from out the country, whenever the fuck that was.
So if that had happened months ago and that was something that I've been dealing with for months, I would leave. So now with all of this going on, I am going to leave. The process was never to stay here for forever. The plan was to go back, and then if not, then purchase a home, which is why I started the home buying process. Now
the plan was to go back, but if not, I was gonna buy a home. Or you was gonna go back to the place that smelled like water, but see, she can't keep her story together.
That we are going through this here. I am going, even though we're going to still go through the court process, which I filed documents. No one filed documents.
Why are you going through the court process and you know the woman doesn't want you there and you haven't paid any money? Why are you being a pain in the ass?
Initially. So if anyone was trying to get me out of the home, they would have filed paperwork to get.
She shouldn't have had to, bitch. You was an Airbnb renter. Why do motherfuckers have to? So it's just right, doing right just ain't a thing no more. Because the only reason the woman wants you out is because you have not paid. If you were paying money, she wouldn't give a fuck. You know why? Because she rents the house out every month anyway via Airbnb. So as long as you were paying, she wouldn't give a fuck. She probably makes more money with you being there month to month instead of being on Airbnb. She could cut out the Airbnb fees, but apparently you're not paying, bitch. sitting there looking like one of them things off Mario.
Me out of the home and any of the months that they said that I did not make payments. That didn't happen. No one filed paperwork. The Douglases didn't file paperwork until I filed paperwork.
They did give you a 30-day notice.
Which for 1 month that they did not receive a payment, and then they received the payment later. So let's say you're in an apartment.
No, you're not in an apartment though, ma'am. You don't have a lease. That shit that's to a leaseholder. You didn't pay for a month. They gave you a 30-day notice, and then you said, okay, here goes the money. But they don't want to deal with you anymore. Just leave. They would have preferred you just left with the 30-day notice and kept your money, because them taking the money for that month bought you another goddamn month to be in there. Which, again, she's playing this shit out, which is why she's saying if you stayed in an apartment, she done this shit before.
Paperwork.
They did give you a 30-day notice.
Which for 1 month that they did not receive a payment, and then they received the payment later. So let's say you're in an
I didn't relate. So you went past a month. So you didn't pay for a month, and then month 2 comes and you still staying in there.
Apartment or your home. Do you rent or do you own?
Own, but I also have a signed contract saying that I own, and or when I rented, I have a signed lease saying that I own.
So have you ever rented before?
Yes.
Okay. So when you pay your rent, if you don't pay your rent after, let's say, the 5th, then you get a notice that you didn't pay your rent, correct? Right. And then that notice might say, you haven't paid your rent. You need to pay the rent. We're filing this paperwork in the courthouse because you have not filed this paperwork. If you don't pay, then you need to vacate the unit.
Right.
Okay. So,
and they typically do that after the first month. So I'm baffled that these folks said she stayed in a place for 13 months and only paid 1 month worth of rent. Are their courts that backed up? It took 13 months for them to get in court and be heard, which is something she probably knows as well.
Whenever she's provided a vacate notice, it might have been because the payment had not been received yet. Once the payment was received, she would send another invoice, and now we're in another month because that month that she did the vacate notice for was because the payment was late. If the payment was made, then there were no other issues. She then sent another invoice for the next month, and there was no longer an issue. The vacate notice would be if there wasn't.
Y'all notice she still ain't got the goddamn phone. She asked where the phone was, said, "Where's my phone?" But she ain't went to get it to show no receipts, which would help her in the court of public opinion on this goddamn newscast. I would be showing all the goddamn receipts, but she has none because she's a fucking liar.
Payment made.
So
just like your apartment, like I said, if you rent an apartment, you pay the rent late, they give you a notice that you haven't made the payment. You make the payment and then everything is fine. And that is what has happened. Sometimes they still don't want to deal with you. So it has not been since I've been here in February that I have not been making payments. That is incorrect.
Did Douglases ever?
So she got there in February. Well, damn. February to December is 10 months. The lady said she ain't made payments in about 9 to 10 months. That sounds about right. She had to pay February because that was the first month she had to pay debt up front on the Airbnb. Other than that, it's been a free ride. And for that lady, I don't think that lady gullible like that. She ain't playing with nobody. Like you get all types of agreements like that in writing, even if you gotta fucking go to Kinko's or somewhere and make up one saying you're gonna do month to month. She not just gonna tell you, well, yeah, you can stay and we just gonna work it out. No, she needs everything written down legally for court. You do too. That would help you in this case had you had a legal binding document saying, I'm going to pay her month to month off this Airbnb. You is lying on that woman, and I hope she whoop your ass.
Or did you and the Douglases ever sign a document or agree
homeowner, if you whoop her ass, I am pretty sure the community will rally around you and get you bond, ma'am.
To you renting this property outside of that Airbnb reservation?
We have text messages, yes, where they agreed to me staying in the property after the initial Airbnb rental period.
So even as I was listening to the court hearing, it was stated that after the Airbnb 32 days was up, you mentioned you wanted to extend your stay at the Airbnb.
Mhm.
And that's what that extension was, an extension of being an Airbnb guest. Are you saying you took that as an extension of I'm now renting?
No. So we did not rent. We no longer did any rentals through Airbnb. The Airbnb rental was only 1 month through Airbnb. After that time frame, I went
You ain't
through
paid no
paying
more.
the owners directly. So we extended the time frame. They agreed to allow me to stay in the space till whenever, I guess, until I don't make a payment. And then they go through a process. The initial process was not to stay.
So y'all didn't have us. You didn't say, hey, I need to be here 2 months after 3 months. You didn't have no set time. It was just, we gonna pay as we go. I'm just in here until I miss a payment. Oh boy, bitches ain't shit.
In here for an extended amount of time. No, but it was to stay beyond well, it wasn't even to stay beyond the 30 days. But once we knew that I had to stay beyond the initial Airbnb rental, we no longer went through Airbnb. So there was never an extension of the Airbnb. Everything went directly through the owner. You're saying Airbnb as if I went to the Airbnb, rented it for 30 days, said I'm staying, and I'm not paying you anything. And then since that 30 days in February or March, it would have ended.
You did. That's exactly what the fuck you did.
I've been staying here without them knowing, and I haven't been paying. That would be inaccurate.
So you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, that after the 30-day and everything was on Airbnb, once it left Airbnb, that's when the agreement started of to you a month to month stay
Correct.
here.
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned that you are going to leave, but you're going to go through the court process.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm going to leave before the court process finishes, but we are still going to go through the court process.
And why is
Why, if you're leaving before the court makes an order next week, why in the fuck won't you just leave now, bitch? You know why? Because niggas like to be annoying. They like to fuck with you for no reason other than they can, and they like seeing other people miserable.
that?
Because now you
Human
have
Nets.
caused me when you decided to lock. So the police informed her that she is not allowed.
Man, she acting like she's the goddamn victim. She the victim. Let alone what you didn't put this woman through. Has she even been able to come in there and inspect her property? You've been in there for 10 months. She ain't been able to come in and see if you didn't tow anything up. That's another thing. When she leaves, she ain't signed no lease or nothing, so she's technically not responsible. The Airbnb shit been over with. You can say you got damages after the Airbnb contract ends, but she never went in there. Pretty much when the Airbnb contract ended, it was like, okay, there's no damages. We can't charge you for this. How's she gonna charge it for it now? There was no lease.
That they are not allowed to enter the property without 48 hours written notice because I was staying here. Okay. On Thanksgiving, while I left to have Thanksgiving, they entered the unit without my knowledge to change the locks, turn off.
As they should. They should have vandalized their motherfucker. I'd have vandalized the shit out there motherfucker while you were gone.
The power. That is when they didn't turn the power off through Pepco. They did something to the breaker box where then the breaker box is not sending power to the home.
They just they just flipped the switch on the breaker box.
After she turned the power off in the home, when we got into the home, she then called CPS to tell them that my younger daughter was in the home without power, but my daughter was leaving. She left. She hasn't stayed here because the temperature was cold. I couldn't leave the property because they had taken the batteries out of the door, and the doors could not be locked, and my property was still in there. So although we're going to go through the court process, because now you have said that I'm a squatter. A squatter is a person who illegally goes onto a property, then they have to have that's like if your home that you own was vacant and no one was
Okay, so sue for defamation, bitch. Y'all is going through eviction court.
there, and then I decided I'm going to go into your home because I know it's vacant and you don't know that I'm going into the property. That is what a squatter is. A squatter is someone who has illegally entered the property without your notice and you never had an agreement with them.
It's also not just if the home's vacant, it's if you're there without
It's not
the
your
owner's
house.
permission, and you're not leaving.
Yes, if you had maybe that other part is there, but we had an agreement. So I'm not here because I had an Airbnb rental in February to March. And I said, you know what? I had an Airbnb rental for a month. I'm never leaving here and I'm never going to pay you anything. And you need to get me out through the courts. That was never the case. We had an agreement.
You did say that through text, though.
Oh, I said that through text about after.
Listen, good job, reporter, because you constantly catching this bitch line.
Because I had an Airbnb rental in February to March. And I said, you know what? I had an Airbnb rental for a month. I'm never leaving here and I'm never going to pay you anything. And you need to get me out through the courts. That was never the case. We had an agreement.
You did say that through text, though.
Oh, I said that through text about afterwards when you decided to then start harassing me. I said, you're going to have to go through the court process. Yes.
But how is she harassing you when she wants you out of her property? The only reason she wants you out of her property is because you're not paying. Even if you paying late, bitch, you wrong. Because Airbnb don't do late payments. You have to pay up front. They don't do late fees. It's over with. You ain't got the money, you can't stay.
In order to legally get me out of the property. That didn't mean that I'm staying in the property indefinitely. I'm literally going to be leaving the property as soon as possible. Like, start packing up. Because now it's gotten to a point where it messes with somebody's emotional being. And
you fucking with her emotional being. And you sitting there in that cold ass house, bitch, because you don't want to leave. Your daughter's somewhere else, and you in that motherfucker just cold. The news cameras done had to bring their lights in that motherfucker.
Their piece, and we're not doing that.
There
were payments made every month prior to that. So you can't say that you didn't want me. If you didn't want me in the property, why were you sending me invoices for payments? Why were payments made and you accepted them? Why did you?
Cause motherfucker, you not gonna stay in my house. Okay, you came in from February to March. You're not staying in my house in March and thinking you staying for free. So of course I'm gonna send you an invoice. Like, even you gonna get an invoice when you leave up out that motherfucker this time. You're not staying in my shit for free. That's why you getting the invoice, because you owe me. Even when you decide to vacate the premises, you owe me. We are prorated, but you owe me.
You accept any of those payments if you didn't want me in the property? Let's say you issued a 30-day notice.
You ain't made no payment.
Let's say she did. I don't know that she did. Let's say in June, I didn't make my payment on the 5th or the 15th, and you sent me a 30-day notice, but then I paid the rent on the following day.
Why'd you not leave after signing the document stating that you weren't a tenant and that you would leave November 15th if she gave you $2,500?
So whatever that agreement.
Damn, you tried to shake the lady down for money? Give me $2,500, I leave.
Why'd you not leave after signing the document stating that you weren't a tenant and that you would leave November 15th if she gave you $2,500?
So whatever that agreement is, that is an agreement that the owner, Mr. Douglas, he said that his wife was under a amount of stress because I had paid the rent late previously, and that she was now distressed, and he and I have had a pretty much cordial relationship after that. I told him I wasn't sure that I would be able to leave the property within that time frame because I had just suffered a big financial loss in the month previously. So there was no way I could guarantee that I would be out within that time frame. Before that time frame came,
So again, you're abusing the system. I ain't got no money, so I can't leave. I can't pay y'all to stay here on time. But I also don't got the money to leave either. But I do got money to go out of town. Not like keep saying out of town. I need to put some respect on it. She went out the country. I got money to go out the country. And I'm gonna tell y'all I'm an entrepreneur and have a nonprofit. Where's your nonprofit headquarters, bitch? Why you ain't staying there?
informed them there's no way I can be out before that time frame because of this financial issue that I informed you of. They don't have to be accepting of the financial issue that I have, because whether the financial issue exists, rent has to be paid, right? But if rent is not paid due to a financial issue or whatever issue, I was then informed while I'm going through the process to then move out and get everything done that you had to go through the courts. I went to the court in order to make sure the power was on while we're doing that. The court informed me, the court attorneys at Landlord and Tenant informed me that nothing.
I went to court about the power
had been filed against me to get me out of the property. Nothing had ever been filed, and that I would have to file in order to protect myself from them turning the power off until I moved out of the property.
Okay. Where
This
are
is
you going
part
to go next?
3 of it.
I'm moving out of the property. I don't need to tell them where I'm moving.
Are you going to go next?
I'm moving out of the property. I don't need to tell them where I'm moving.
I asked that in the sense of,
You know, bitch, she asked that because they need to warn any motherfucker that may be about to rent to you that it's over with. Like, bitch, you was on the bar list. They're gonna be looking for your ass in DC.
if you did have somewhere to go with all this, and you mentioned she was harassing you.
This just started. So it's not like the harassment has not been for months. So when you're saying harassment and you're saying, why haven't I left prior? It seems as if this is an issue that has been going on for months, which it has not. This has only been like a 2 week. This has been like now it's been a month process. So it hasn't been some process that has been going on for months. It has not gone on for months. It has not. It's only been going on now for a month, literally a month.
So you're saying just November or just December?
The end of October is when the stuff started. The harassment started in November.
Okay.
So the harassment didn't start until mid-November. So the harassment, the sign, the cutting the power off, that was November. Well, the power was cut off in October 1st, but then they turned the power back on, but then they turned it back off in November. So the issues didn't start until October, November, the end of October, the beginning of November. There was no harassment prior to that. There was no issue with installing signs. None of that started months ago, and I'm just staying here dealing with harassment. No, that's not the case.
Where do you think the missing link or disconnect is between you and the homeowners, between you feeling and
Big
saying that you are renting,
bitch.
and them saying that you are here without their permission and legally? In one sentence, what would you say that disconnect or link is?
I think the disconnect is simply you not wanting to, I don't know, I would say it was simply that you have decided that you don't want me in the property anymore. And instead of trying to do that the legal way, let's say, even if you go the legal way, I'm planning to leave before. Let's say she decides to go to landlord and tenant court tomorrow, and that process takes 6 months. I'm not going to be here for 6 months while we go through that process. Now, while we go through the civil process, I will be still going through that, but I'm not even going to stay here for that time frame. But I would say the disconnect is understanding that regardless of whether you want to see me as a tenant or not, once you allowed me, do I need to, is that disconnect?
Yes, if you don't mind.
So the phone been sitting there all that time, yet you ain't showed one motherfucking receipt that you said you could show.
People that I don't know are calling my phones. Okay, I would say that the disconnect is.
So again, why did you put your phone in there instead of saying, hold on, let me show you these links that she sent me? And then when the woman told you that you was getting evicted from the other place, you said, where's my phone?
Simply that you want something to happen in a quicker time frame than I can make possible. So I would say within the next 2 weeks, before the end of December, before there is anything serious, that I would be out of this property. It might even be within the next week. that I would be fully packed
This
up and
was
have my
2
stuff out.
days ago.
Because now it's gotten to the point of harassment and messing with the peace. That was not a problem before. If that was a problem before, then I would have been on a speedier process to make this happen. But because I may have paid late and then make the payment and then you send me another invoice, I'm under the impression because you send me another invoice for another month that we are fine. Just like if I were renting an apartment and I paid it late and then I paid it later, make the payment, everything goes back as long as you're making your payments. So,
Man, see, that lady fucked up trying to be nice when she should have just been like, look here. Yeah, you can stay here. You can stay here, but I need all my money up front. Ain't no on the 5th or nothing. If you ain't got the money, roll. So you say you pay, you booked through Airbnb in February, which allowed you to March. In March, you said you worked out something with the woman. So did you pay March up front? Or did you stay there for a month and then was supposed to get an invoice? That's where the lady fucked up and charged you on the back end instead of having you up front. But I don't think that this lady had any type of agreement with her. I think this lady is full of shit and she's making all this up because she's found a way to work the system. This ain't her first rodeo with this, as we've heard.
I don't know if I answered your question or not.
No, you're fine. So essentially when they sent you,
if I were renting an apartment and I paid it late and then I paid it later, you make the payment, everything goes back as long as you're making your payments. So I don't know if I answered your question or not.
no, you're fine. So essentially when they sent you the payment request for when you want to extend to you, that's an agreement of I'm going to stay
At the property, because why would you send me a payment link for rent if you don't want me to stay here? If you wanted me out in April.
If she didn't send you a link, bitch, you still wasn't gonna leave. You were gonna stay in there without paying. If you ain't had the means, and if you hadn't had the money and you've been in a financial hardship to where you can't leave in a specific amount of time, how would you have done it then if she didn't send you a link? This don't make no goddamn sense.
Why did you send me one for April? If you wanted me out in May, why did you send me one in May? If you wanted me out in June, why did you send me a link for June, July, August, September, October? Why did you send me those links for payment? And if I was in the property unwilling, like you didn't want me in the property, and let's say I was being hostile. Let's say I was now the home right now, I have a business, so that's why this stuff is here on the floor, right? But the home is not in a position where anything is being damaged. You know, like I haven't messed up the walls, there's nothing done. So if you wanted me out of the property because you felt like I was doing something to the property or you just didn't want me at the property anymore, you would go through the process to make sure that the person cannot be at your property, which would be going through it legally, not because the person, whether you agree to a lease or not. If I own a home, I know that in order to get the person out.
It shouldn't have been nothing legal. Y'all met on Airbnb. She is not your landlord. You are not her tenant. You keep trying to turn this shit into an apartment when y'all don't have any paperwork saying that you was going to be able to do this shit. And that's why you are eventually going to lose, because you don't have any paperwork to back up your statements.
I have to make sure I go through the process to get them out. Why didn't that process happen if you wanted me out? And why were you continuing to send me
invoices? Those are tenants, right? You're not a tenant.
So if you send me an invoice, then you say, never mind, you know what? I'm not taking your payment. But
you gotta change anything though? Because you mentioned that because you were here for 30 days, you have the tenant rights and you were telling her she has to go through the court process.
So I would have the tenant process, wasn't even thinking about that until
You did it though, bitch. It don't matter if you was thinking about it. You did it.
We got to the point of the harassment. So at no point in March or April or May did I think about
considered harassment for you, just to clarify, because based on the messages, it seemed like you started claiming harassment, started asking for the missed payments or money that wasn't received.
No,
she said
it's when you come to the
then the husband said, look here, bitch. If you move out by November 15th, we will pay you to leave. They was going to give her $2,500 to get the fuck out if she could be out on the 15th. They gave her paperwork. She signed the paperwork, said, I ain't no tenant. But then she didn't leave. She didn't want the $2,500. She wants to stay free some more.
home, you're banging on the door. The police say to you, you can't come in. You come in, you sit down, you threaten me, tell me that you're going to break all of the windows in the house.
So she came inside and threatened you?
Yes. The police have it
You
on
shouldn't break the
their
windows.
cameras. Like they were wearing footage, the body cameras. Came in the home. Then
That's right,
you go outside of the
landlord.
home because they say, no, you know what? If you continue to do this, we're going to arrest you because she has rights to be here. Despite them saying that she would come back every other day to say something or do something else in order to create hell.
Let me say this because respectfully to the people who have seen this, to those who have heard about. So
I'm sorry. So my point is that at no point prior to that was I ever saying, I have tenant rights. You better not do this, because there was no need for me to feel like I needed to have tenant rights before that. There was no need for me to feel like you're going to do something that is going to put my living in danger for me to feel like I need to protect myself, because I make a payment and we're back on good terms. So there was never a thought about what a tenant right was until we got to the point of that.
The contention.
Then all of a sudden she knew what
Does that
tenant
make
rights
sense to
were.
you?
It does. I hear you. It does look like this based on everything. And I'll give you, of course, a chance to respond after. It does look like, based on the court records, that you were getting evicted from Ava Noma because you were there for 13 months and only paid for a month. And around the time you were getting evicted, you booked this Airbnb for 32 days. You then told the homeowner you needed more time because of the alleged fire and things like that, and you wanted an extension. And
this is based on court records.
Asked to pay via Amex or another way outside of Airbnb. She accepted that extension. And then you continued staying. You say you paid. She says she never received payment. And then you said because you were here for 30 days, DC says you are a tenant and she has to go through the process. And
then we still need to know about this lost payment that she claims she made. Who lost it? Did the homeowner lose it or did she lose it?
To get you out. You signed an agreement saying that you would be out. She offered to pay you to leave, essentially. Signed and agreed and still did not leave. With all of that together, to her, it does appear in a sense, with you knowing how DC laws work, that you kind of scammed your way into long-term housing.
Okay, so first of all, you said alleged fire. There was a fire. There's no alleged. A fire happened. A fire report.
No, it's alleged because you said it. You ain't showed shit. You haven't showed a damn thing. But what she told you and showed you through court records is, bitch, you was getting evicted from the same place you claim had a fire for non-payment.
Happened. Police report happened and it was investigated. So a fire happened. So it's not alleged. So me saying I need to stay there because of a fire would not be an inaccurate statement, because there was a fire and I was displaced because of the fire, because there was so much water damage that it went all the way down to the first floor of the building. So that would be the first thing.
Boo-hoo.
The second thing is, if you, once you agreed that I could stay in the property after that and send invoices, let's say, however, I asked, do you want to do it through Airbnb or do you want to do it directly?
Do you have that message?
I'm sure I can.
Your phone and your phone is in your pocket, and good thinking you finally asked her for receipts. She ain't gonna find it. They tried to pay you $2,500 to leave, bitch, and you still wouldn't leave. You signed the paper saying I would. If they give you $2,500, that should have covered you staying any goddamn way. You couldn't stay with your daughter for a couple nights till you found somewhere to go with that $2,500.
Do you want to do it through Airbnb or do you want to do it directly?
Do you have that message?
I'm sure I can. I think it. I don't know. I'll find it.
If that owner did send that message, she's a dumbass. She should have left it through Airbnb so she wouldn't be going through all of this.
Someone, if you, once you agreed that I could stay in the property after that and send invoices, let's say, however, I asked, do you want to do it through Airbnb or do you want to do it directly?
Do you have that message?
I'm sure I can. I think it. I don't know.
I'll give you
find
my
it.
number and you can say
Yes.
something.
So the option was never me saying I want to pay you outside of Airbnb. That was never a statement. There was
Why
never.
didn't you correct that when she said that in court?
News reporter, this is not live. Why didn't you make her show you this shit right now?
I'll give you my number and you can say
yes.
something.
So the option was never me saying I want to pay you outside of Airbnb. That was never a statement. There was
Why
never.
didn't you correct that when she said that in court? Because she did say that you stated that you initiated the outside payment in court.
So I don't think she said that. So we had court today.
Yes.
And while I was trying to ask questions about the legality of things and ask other questions, the judge said, You cannot, they were there only for the emergency hearing, which was the power being out. So the other issues where the questions of whether she's lying about payments and all of that, which I sent payments to the judge, which the judge could see the payments. Here's a payment for June.
Give me one quick second. Tell him to move us down to 5:30 because we're still talking.
Move us down to 5:30.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So the initiation to go out of Airbnb was not me. It was, and I don't.
Why you showing June, bitch? You need to be showing March, April, May, June, July, all of that.
All that being asked in court. And if it was when I was trying to ask questions, if you were there, then you heard the judge say that I'm here for this. The legal issues, the law questions that you're asking or trying to ask, it has no bearing today. That'll be reviewed next week.
Sitting in the
One
car
last
with
quick
the
question I
woman.
want to make sure I do ask you, because I heard you say you're getting calls. I can say sitting here with you that you're also emotionally impacted by this, whatever side anything is on. What do you feel something has been misunderstood? And when people see this story and continue to see it, what do you want them to understand about you?
Is she a scammer?
Me personally, or this situation?
You personally, in the situation.
Everyone has financial issues at some point. No one is free of something happening and they being 1 month or 1 week away from paying their rental payment. If you make your rental payment late, that does not mean that your landlord should be able to cut your power off to your home, that they should be able to come to the home to
She wasn't your landlord, ma'am. She met you on Airbnb.
harass you to get into the unit or have your vehicle towed or put signs on the thing in order to try to
If she wanted to rent to normal niggas, she wouldn't have her shit on Airbnb.
publicly humiliate you while you're going through a financial thing, because everyone has paid a bill late. Everyone has. And when you pay that bill late, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you should be under public scrutiny because you paid a bill late. We all have paid a bill late.
But I guess one last question before I step out.
Ooh, it done got dark in there quick. She's sitting in their cold ass house.
10 toes down. You're saying you guys were in an agreement. She was renting to you. She was your landlord. You were a tenant.
Yes. And that's the only reason why we are here, and that I have not been living here for months and not paying. That is an inaccurate statement. That is an untrue statement. I cannot make invoices to send to her to live in her place. She had to initiate all of those, and you accepted my payment every month. Any way that I made, any of the payments that I made, she said in court that they were all successful. So to say that I paid with my credit card, which if anyone has an Amex, you know that you get points for making payments and then paying your credit card off the immediate month. I like to travel. I can pay it. If the Amex was not an acceptable form of payment, why was I allowed to make the payment that way?
That's strange.
I will say,
People
speaking of both
calling
fees,
her
it's
all of a
created
sudden.
an extreme amount of stress and distress on both ends. So hopefully there's a resolve for both of you, truly. Because from speaking with both of you, there's some either big miscommunication on one side or the other. I think laws that exist and didn't necessarily help in this scenario as well. But it's not a unique scenario. This happens quite often.
But I feel like when it happens before, there's someone who is intentionally trying to work a system. If I were trying to work a system, I would not have made any payments to you. You know, like if I was trying to get into this property to circumvent something, and you would have never received another payment from me outside of the Airbnb. There would have never been another payment, but you were receiving payments every month. So I wasn't trying to circumvent some process. But when it came to protecting myself, my children, and even my child, who is not my child, who's like my adopted daughter, if it comes to protecting them, then I have to protect myself. If that means now saying you're harassing me and you're cutting my power off and I don't have hot water, I have.
Now she got a foster child. I told y'all this bitch was related to Hammerhead.
Tenant rights, then that's when I'm going to say that.
So it was in your mind self-defense.
Correct. It wasn't I never mentioned tenant rights before anything was done to make me have to feel like I have to have tenant rights, because I wasn't worried about that, because we were making payments. There would be no issue.
It seems like it may have escalated from every guest extending to this, what is now a contentious situation, like when you maybe started bringing up tenant rights in this.
But that wasn't until last month. So it's not like, so in March, April, May, June, July, I never said I have tenant rights here, you know, like, because I never.
It wasn't on your mind.
It wasn't on my.
All right, y'all. Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all this little part here. Here goes some of the text messages right there. Good afternoon. We still haven't received the payment. Can you let me know what's going on? I'm not sure what it say. I'm not sure what's going on, but if we don't receive payment, I don't. I'm not sure what's going on, but if we don't receive the payment by tomorrow, you will have to leave the property. And this is in August. She said she paid in June. This is in August where all these messages are being sent. Okay. I'm gonna show y'all this last part and we're getting up out of here. This the lady that claims she got financial hardships. Look at her IG. I wish I could see what her name was. We gonna keep up with this story though. But yeah, this is what she was out living her best life for free. I'm living my best life. Oh shit! Why y'all didn't tell me I had cut the screen off? Hold up, y'all didn't. So I was reading the text messages. I thought y'all saw this shit. Hold on, let me put it back up right quick. I gotta get up out of here in the next 3. I got time. Now he asked me if I'm showing. I forgot I hit stop.
While all this is going on, Romero's social media shows her living her best.
Her social media, all on the IG, but as you see, she ain't got no comments or nothing on this shit. But she definitely constantly posting. I like to travel.
Life on trips and promoting her nonprofit. And Roshane is left paying thousands in attorney fees. The more
look at this bitch. She doing cartwheels and shit.
And promoting her nonprofit. And Roshane is left paying thousands in attorney fees, the mortgage and utilities for a home she can't even enter. I tried to get some answers from Romero, who was clearly in.
It's just they put all of the stories. They finally decided to run all the stories together in one thing. So it's just a repeat of everything we heard, but they actually put the social media in there and they showed some of the text messages. And that lady was asking for money in August and said, so I guess that's when the money got lost. And she's like, I don't know what happened, but bitch, you're gonna have to leave. But all right, y'all. Well, to the next episode. Let's see. Did I get I need 6 subs to make 17K. Hopefully when I wake up in the morning, I'll be there. To the next episode, little channel, big voice. We out. Low key niggas hating but they don't want no beef. State gang, true sippers, bitch, I bet we gon' eat.